World #1 Brad Caulfield is on form after a second-place finish in Hamburg, but the men's rankings are still wide open, with Hamburg winner Javier Gomez nipping at Caulfield's heels. Just behind Caulfield, American Hunter Kemper is also still in contention for the overall crown, and this is a course he's had success on in the past. It was a sprint finish against Frédéric Below that brought victory to Kemper last year, but with a disappointing season so far, he's keen to return to winning form.
It is so important to make sure that you're just near the front of the group the entire time and just always there, and to make a chance, to have a chance to make a break, you know, to be in that spot. I felt like I did a good job in Hamburg the weekend later. I was right there. I was always in the top 5, top 6 guys. You know, I was right in the front pack. There were no breaks, but I was in the right position to be there. So I learned from my Lausanne mistakes, and you know, the whole process. I mean, if you don't learn and you don't continue to grow in the sport, then something's gone wrong. So I definitely learned from that. But hopefully in Sunday's race and on the Beijing course, on the bike course, that I'll be up near the front. And if I'm not, then obviously I'm not feeling too good and something's gone wrong.
Javier Gomez is the shining star on the Spanish men's team after victories in both Madrid and Hamburg, while moving to within striking distance at the top of the rankings.
It's very important to feel the course, the swim, the bike and the run, because in 2 years it's the Olympic Games, so it's important because it's a World Cup, but it's also important because we race in the same course. So I don't know, I think I like this course, but tomorrow or on Sunday we'll see the feeling of the course. I have to grow up as a triathlete, and in 2 years I hope to run faster than now.
Tim Don's World Cup season hasn't been spectacular, but he made up for it at the recent World Champs, proving he's capable of rising to the challenge when it matters most.
There's not one particular session, I believe, that makes you a world champion or a world-class athlete. It's the consistency of training every day, and you know, I'd give me 10 average sessions as opposed to 1 legend session and a load of duffers. So you know, for me, training with AJ and Lacin in Switzerland, you know, that was awesome. But then, you know, going right back to the winter in Stellenbosch in South Africa, you know, it's all small bricks, and you know, you just want that wall to be as strong as possible. You know, Beijing's definitely on my mind. I only want to really go if I believe in myself and I can believe I can be a contender. So, you know, in 2 years, if things are the same, then you know, I'll be more than happy to go and give it a crack in Beijing.
A competitive field of men are ready to contest the Olympic course here in Beijing, including the top 3 racers in the world. But it won't be an easy ride, with Olympic silver medalist Doherty also in the hunt, along with world champs bronze medalist Below and multiple World Cup winner Chris Gemmell.
Another absolutely monster elite men's field here, as 75 or 76 men take off in the exact same course that the women have just completed. Spectators to the right of the athletes as they swim down in front of the large dammed area. They'll be going 350 plus meters down, make a hard left-hand turn and come back, a rectangle swim. The opening leg will be 1,000 meters. The second smaller rectangle will be 500 meters, and each time coming up onto the pontoon. 21.6 degree water temperature by the time the men have started, and Stéphane Poulat from France continuing to push the pace, and you can see it is a little hazy here today in Beijing. We had absolutely phenomenal air quality at last year's World Cup race, and we're taking a look right now as Andy Potts from the US starting to make his move as the big, strong American athlete, putting in some outstanding swim times over the last couple of weeks, although he continues to focus on his bike and particularly his run. A World Cup win last year in Edmonton. He was second in Mazatlan this year, third in Ishigaki, and continues to be a factor in every race he's in. As it will be Andy Potts first to come out of the water at the 1,000-meter mark, right across the pontoon and back in, and Poulat, Frédéric Below just coming out there, so some great swims. Cilia from Russia just coming out of the water. We'll take a look, that's Courtney Atkinson just going by there as well. Paes from Portugal is next to come through as he goes out. Javier Gomez with a great swim, he's back into the water, and that's a man who has to be feared as he goes back in for his second loop. We're taking a look right now, Bevan Doherty a little bit further back than he would have liked to. Chris Gemmell back in about 14th spot as well, but one of the men well back, Hunter Kemper and Tim Don. There's Hunter Kemper just coming out of the water, so he's going to have to make up some sizable time and falling off the end of the dock right there. So the day is not opening up the way that Hunter Kemper, the man that won in this course a year ago, would have liked to have seen. This is the BG 2006 men's triathlon here on the course that they'll be using for the Olympic Games. And as Andy Potts, Stefan Kulat, and Frederic Belot push the pace here, they are pulling away now, starting to bridge away from some very strong swimmers sitting back in 10th through 20th spot. Stefan Kulat, very easy to identify with those tattoos on his right arm. And the man who had a silver medal way back in 1996 in Paris has been one of the strong teammates for the French over the years. And Frederic Belot just coming into the picture, Vasilia from Russia as well, as some of the sport's best swimmers going after Andy Potts here in the last stages of the swim. Well, no surprise, Andy Potts will be making his way out of the water in just over 18 minutes and change. A hard 50-meter run to the bike, and he'll get ready to head off right there. Belobe just out of the water, Poulat just behind him. Tayama from Japan, Vasilia from Russia coming up and out of the water. Arkinson from Australia, Gomez coming out with a great swim. Tatar from Hungary sitting in there, Vladimir Polakapinko with a solid swim. Joe Umpenhauer, the old man of triathlon from the U.S., coming out in about 12th spot as we take a look to the top of the screen. And that is Andy Potts getting ready to head off right there out onto the course. The bottom of the screen, some of our big players, and they are well down now trying to make up some time. Our German athlete just coming out of the water right there a few seconds ago. Timothy O'Donnell from the U.S. just coming into the bottom of the screen as well. And just coming out with about another 5 or 6 seconds will be Hunter Kemper and Tim Don. So they are well back as our leaders are already going past the grandstand out onto the first of their 7-kilometer loops. Classically, it's exactly 40 kilometers, but the nature of this loop, it's slightly long at 42 kilometers. So the ITU will have to decide whether to keep it the exact course or make small modifications.
After the swim, Andy Potts was in his usual position in the front of the field, but several other top competitors were also in contention, including French teammates Belot and Poulat, along with Courtney Atkinson and Gomez, who was well positioned in 8th.
Courtney Atkinson from Australia, a past World Cup winner in that league group, always close to the front. A great ex-swimmer. Andy Potts in the lead right now, Frederic Belot as well. As we take a look right now, our leaders have used their swim to their full capacity, and the no wetsuit swim here in Beijing certainly has spread this field much larger than we have seen in most of the wetsuit races. Tim Don to the right side, trying to get himself back into this league group and to use his phenomenal running skills. The newly crowned world champion Tim Don just coming into your view right there, and our chase group of athletes just about now to bridge up to the leader. So we are going to have a significant group of unbelievable performers up into this league group. Another one of the talented French athletes, Sylvain Souris, taking bike cream number 1 at the end of lap number 2. Starting the third of 7 laps, there's Stefan Poulat, and that group includes the likes of Javier Gomez. And as we're taking a look now on the left side, one large chase group. On the right side, our leaders going back out, so they're still quite close together. And you can see a significant number of men with their heads down trying to ride themselves back up. This is a massive chase group, which includes Brad Caulfield. And as we take a look as they go around the 180-degree turn at the far end of the dock that's been built, you can see right there, that is the dam on the left-hand side. It's made of cement, and that is chevron rubber that has been laid out, and I mean by the hundreds of thousands of cubic feet, as our leaders come down a very steep hill, a hard left-hand turn, and back out onto the course right now, and they'll be going into the hilly section. Andy Potts just there towards the back. Well, Clark Ellis will be disappointed. His day is over. Team New Zealand not having the way they would like to see it go here today, as the man who was 8th at the 23 and under World Championships in Gamagori a year ago, his day will come to an early end. Sylvain Souris assaulting the front end of this bike course as Team France, along with Frederic Belot and Stefan Poulat, continuing to push the pace. And as our leaders try to keep up with the Frenchmen, the chase group of athletes will be coming up from behind, and it'll be Olivier Marceau in the red, very powerful, the 2000 world champion, two-time Olympian from Switzerland, really pulling those chase group of athletes, including Bevan Docherty, Tim Don, and Brad Kohfeldt has a large chase group now, trying to make up some time on the leaders. Shane Reed just towards the back end of the main chase group. And as we go back towards our leaders, it is the French athletes not letting up on a relentless pace. They have come here with a purpose to learn as much as they can about this course, and they have been very well prepared. It's Andrew Johns in the second of the chase groups. And as we see just coming into the screen with the yellow helmet right there, that's Rasmus Henning, the World Cup winner from Mazatlan, and Hunter Kemper, last year's champion on this course. He certainly looks frustrated to not be up as a major part of this event. You can see a little bit of the fog here in Beijing, and that is something the athletes were worried about. A little more pollution on the course at this event than they would have anticipated, but we know the Chinese have some plans underway to ensure that is a clean air in the time leading up to the 2008 games. The spectators have been here in massive numbers all day long, showing their great support. As we're taking a look, Will Clark from Great Britain right there, pushing very hard as he goes back out onto the bike course. Back taking a look at our leaders, Vasilyov into that group, Mickey Petzold as well. Kutar from Hungary into the green, and that's Javier Gomez we're just looking at just partway up into that lead group. And as they come towards the later stages of this 7-lap, 42-kilometer bike course, the athletes will have to start to think about fluid intake, calories, and what will be an absolutely fast 10-kilometer run. Potts getting dropped just a little bit on this hill, and he knows that his extra body mass, he's a big man, works a little bit against him when they get onto the hillier sections of the course, as our large chase group of about 30-plus athletes are not making significant time. There's Shane Reed from New Zealand. Our French athletes trying to make a break right here, and what a phenomenal move. Frédéric Pelot, Stéphane Poulat, and Sylvain Soudery all working together as Team France, showing an absolute massive domination. Way back in 1996, Poulat was able to get on the podium with a silver medal performance. 8 years later, a silver medal again in Hungary. 2001, he got a performance in Cancun, and right now is having an absolutely amazing race here in Beijing. That is Olivier Marceau generating massive torque on that bike right now as a big man from Switzerland, a past world champion himself, dragging along this large group of chase athletes at the Noah. Continuation of the domination of the French cyclists, as Sylvain Soudery from France will take the second of the bike creams. He won the first one as well. And as we come onto the dock for the bell lap, our lead group of athletes have continued to hang very strong. Potts into that group towards the back. They'll do a 180-degree turn right in front of the spectators here at the BG Men's Beijing World Cup Triathlon. Now taking a look to our chase group of athletes who are down by about 75 seconds and losing time continuously. The chase group of athletes, including Bevan Docherty and Chris Gimmel, two men who have had great seasons and would very much like to be able to make up some of this time on the final lap. We're here at the Champagne Reservoir, just about 25 miles from downtown Beijing, and it is the site of the 2008 Olympic Games. Men and women having a chance to test their strength on what will be another epic course. And as our leaders just at the top of the screen, making a left-hand turn back down the hill, leave our chase group of athletes coming into sight, and they will realize that they have a significant gap to make. When you have Javier Gomez, Frederick Belob into that lead group, you know that you're going to be in for a very fast run. Will Clark and Dimitri Gag just coming through the screen as we take a look back up to our leaders. Vladimir Prokopenko into that main lead group, Andy Potts as well. The French continuing to push the pace. Saba Couture from Hungary into there. That man has done so much of the work for the Hungarian team over the last few years. It's Poulat, head down, pushing the pace, realizing there is no reason to let those chase athletes back into this field. And when you can keep the likes of Brad Collefelt and Bevan Dockery off, including Tim Don, the 2006 world champion, all back in the chase group, the leader's certainly in a great position. Bevan Dockery up and trying to make a breakaway now from the main chase group. Bevan Dockery, who has shown tremendous biking skills over his career, right now back in the chase group, and he has just started to bridge away. Well, Matt Reed has worked hard through the last couple of kilometers of this 7-lap course, and the U.S. athlete will be first to put the shoes on, but you can see the main lead group just about 18 or 20 seconds behind, so he will not have a significant amount of time out on to the start of that run. And as Matt Reed, who has been ill through most of 2006, takes off, the big-name runners are coming up from behind. And here they come, Philip Ospeley into that group. Stefan Poulat as well. Ferdano from Germany into that group. Javier Gomez. And as the bikes are being racked, it is now down to this very fast 4-loop, 10-kilometer run. A couple of hills. It will certainly start to eat on the legs as Javier Gomez gets out very quickly. Andy Potts. Ospeley as well. The men head out. They will go to the end of the dock, make a 180-degree turn, and come right back past the spectators. Matt Reed in the lead, at least for a moment, as he has some very fast-moving men coming up from behind, but the spectators who have been here for hours have stayed, and here come the chase group. Tim Don, Brad Collefelt, making the move. Bevan Dockery, some outstanding runners in this field, and they are going to have to make up significant time as they go out to start this run. And there goes Chris Gimmel. He is trying to apply some significant pressure. Gimmel told me that he focused a lot of his season on this course because next year a good chance of the Kiwi team being selected for the Olympic Games, so he wants to be in the best position he can be. Collefelt heading off onto the course, and Matt Reed continuing to lead right now, but you can see just behind, about 30 meters back, some significant runners coming. But right now, Reed from the U.S. leads.
A breakaway in the closing stages of the fight brought Matt Reed into transition with a clear lead, but the rest of the field wasn't far behind, with Frodeno, Gomez, Belob, and Atkinson, all top runners, still in contention, heading on to the final 10-kilometer run.
Well, Frodeno from Germany, last year's bronze medalist here in Beijing, currently leading here. Just over his shoulder, the man that came second on this course, Frederick Belob, the bronze medalist at the 2006 World Championships, and Javier Gomez, the winner in Hamburg just a week ago, currently sitting in third. We're here at the 2006 BG Men's World Cup Triathlon as we're taking a look at Will Clark from Great Britain in the red. He won the bronze medal in Salford and the 23 and under World Championship title in Lausanne just a few weeks ago. Behind him, Chris Gimmel. So both those men running very well coming off the bike in the second pack. Well, talk about acceleration. Javier Gomez from Spain has just pulled away from Frederick Belobre and Ferdano from Germany, sitting in second and third, but they're no match for the Spanish athlete. As we look back to fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh, that is from the Czech Republic, Philip Ospeley, Stefan Poulat from France to the left of the screen, Mickey Petzel to the right, and at the very back of that lead group of four, chase group of four, is Vladimir Prokopenko. And a little further back, men who are starting to run themselves now into the lead group. They came off in the chase group. That's Tim Don, the 2006 world champion. But all eyes right now are on Javier Gomez, who is absolutely accelerating away from some of the class runners of the sport. The Tour from Hungary, Tim Don and Chris Gimmel running side by side. Gimmel putting a large amount of his training into this course where many of the Kiwis try to make the 2008 Olympic Games team in the selection next year. Bevan Doherty, the world champion and silver medalist at the Olympic Games, trying to get himself back up into that group. Well, just a few kilometers ago, you would have had to put your money on Javier Gomez as a cinch for this race, but Frederic Belabre, who is in second for most of the run, has found another gear. He's accelerated up, and as they come back up another one of the steep hills on this run course, it's Frederic Belabre who looks to be the man in much better position. Javier Gomez struggling right now, arms just a little bit down. Belabre on the top of his toes, looking terrific, and as our first and second place men are accelerating up front, we're looking at 5th, 6th, and 7th as Vladimir Polokapinko and Philip Ospoli right now continuing to have very solid races on this Olympic course. Still a little hazy here as the men are coming through into their bell lap, and it is Frederic Belabre who is up on the toes, and he looks like he's in a 5-kilometer track race as he comes in front of the grandstand. Javier Gomez now trying desperately to bridge back up, but it is the Frenchman who's having a great race. In third spot right there, the teammate of Frederic Belabre, and that is Stefan Poulat, and sitting in fourth spot right now is Ferdano, and he's going to have to make a move if he wants to get on the podium. Well, this has been a season of men's running, and Frederic Belabre will add his name to Javier Gomez in Hamburg, to Tim Don at the World Championships, and to Brad Caulfield's many runs this year. But the guy who will own the day here in Beijing, Frederic Belabre, a World Cup winner a year ago in Salford. He's the European champion this year, a bronze medal performance at the World Championships in Lausanne, Switzerland, but this might be the sweetest of the year as he wins on the Olympic course. And as Frederic Belabre will now start to enjoy the crowd who've been out here so enthusiastic all day long, it will be the BG 2006 World Cup winner for Beijing. Frederic Belabre and the French team are in great form. The man who got a bronze medal at the Worlds will add a victory here in Beijing. And what a month it has been for Javier Gomez, a World Cup win in Hamburg, a Spanish national title just a week ago, and he comes back with a silver medal performance here on the Olympic course. And another Frenchman who might be the happiest man on the course. It's been 5 years since he's been on the podium. Stefan Poulat will claim the bronze medal performance and show that the French team have come here and certainly got their business done. Fourth just in across the line, Philip Ospoli from the Czech Republic, and that is another solid performance from that man. A past World Cup winner in Hamburg. It'll be Ferdano coming in 5th place, and here in that sprint finish will be Bevan Doherty, the 2004 world champion, crossing, and just behind him, Mickey Petzold from Germany.
Congratulations
to the men had some great runs. The fastest of the day belongs to Frederic Belabre.
Thank you.
Consistency was key for Frederic Belabre, who had a strong swim and bike to set himself up for a brilliant run to the finish in first place.
It was great today. I hope to be stronger in 2008, but for the moment I'm really happy to win today, because last year I was second and just at the end, so it's a little revenge, but now it's every time it's perfect here. The first lap in run was a little bit hard because of the hill, every hill 6 times, but at the end I was better, and I go back on Javier, and he was very strong runner this year, so it's very good for me to win today.
Another strong race for Gomez kept him in contention as the young Spaniard had the win in sight right up to the closing stages on the run.
My start wasn't very good, but then I could leave the water in the first bag, and I ride the bag in the first bag, and everybody worked together, and we can start to run with 1 minute difference to the second pack. So it was a great job on bike. When I started to run, I felt good, and I pushed hard. But you know, the last 3-4 Ks was it was something like a big hill for me. But anyway, the second place is a good result.
One of the top swimmer cyclists on tour, Stefan Poulat, is always one to watch, but today he also held his own on the run to win the bronze.
Yes, it's a very good race for me. Today is a good form. It's good for avenir, for the Olympics.
The run often proves a struggle for veteran Stefan Poulin, but not today as he managed to hold off some of the top athletes in the field for the bronze medal. Just behind Spanish sensation Javier Gomez, who continues to have a remarkable season with 2 prior victories. But top marks today go to Frédéric Belob, who is rounding out his season in style with a bronze at the Worlds and now a victory on the future Olympic course. And looking at the official final results, our top 3 spots go to Belob, Gomez, and Poulin, while Ospeli, Frodeno, and Doherty all finished within seconds of each other to round out the top 6. Meanwhile, world champ Tim Don ran his way into 9th, just ahead of Gemmel and Gay. Following Beijing, the men's rankings look like this, with a real horse race forming at the top between new leader Gomez, Kaufeld, and Hunter Kemper. A win today moves Belob up to 7th ahead of other top contenders Don, Carter, and Doherty, proving the men's race is definitely going to come down to the wire. And